Greetings. This is going to be a kind of short video. I was playing around with AI and thinking about using it for wargaming. I've also seen it used for RPGs or heard of it. So as an example, I thought I'd try and take the battles in the East system rules, which I recently covered in a video, so I'm familiar with them, and see if I can actually pull them into one of the AI systems and then use it to look up rules or summarize rules or answer rules questions. So I had to do a little poking around between the big two I was looking at were Bing Chat. It's built into Bing. You got to use Microsoft Edge, and of course Chat GPT, which I've got here from OpenAI.com. I'm leaning more and more towards Edge. Normally I don't use Edge and Bing for search, but Microsoft's pretty much setting this up to be potentially a killer app here. I do have an interesting article here in the salient point of what's the difference between ChatGPT and Bing, and Microsoft does have a partnership with them, so they're definitely related to each other. If you look at ChatGPT, that's the original one, OpenAI. They've got an original version called version 3.5. Their later version is version 4, but you got to subscribe to it or pay for it. The advantage of 4 over 3.5 is more advanced search engine, and the other thing I read was through Microsoft Bing, they've got current information. GPT 3.5, from what I understand, was trained up to 2022. So if you're using it for recent information, etc., 3.5 will only give you information from 2022 and earlier. 4, though, which you got to pay for, does have current information. But the interesting thing what Microsoft did through their partnership is two things. If you do want to use, and here's a little icon here for that, up here in the corner. If you do use Bing Chat, it's called, you can basically, big two things is it's doing current events, so it's up to date, and it's back-ended by GPT-4, and you don't have to pay for it. So, I mean, that in itself, is making me lean towards actually starting to use Edge as my browser. You got a cool little sidebar here to use it. You get this little Bing button. So, there's other ones out there. There's Bard, which I haven't played with. I got the license for Meta AI. I think that's from Meta, Facebook, Zuckerberg. So I'll play with those two. But what I really wanted to test is, can I pull in a set of rules, and then can I have it analyze the rules, and then I can use it as a rules questions. Now I ran into problems right away here with ChatGPT, text-based AI. So I'd have to convert a PDF document into a text document. So you could use it. You'd have to suck it in as a text document, which is doable. I mean, that's entirely possible. Side question, it says, can I run an RPG game? This actually says I'm more than willing to game master your RPG game. So I may play with that. When I asked Edge or Chat AI or Bing Chat, gotta get these names right. It said I can't do it, and it just tried to give me recommendations on how to be a game master. So I haven't quite figured that out. But going back to using the document, actually poking around, I did find out that if you use a developer edition of Microsoft Edge, you can just Google for it, sign up and get the developer edition, which is what I've got right here. You can, and then if you pull up the PDF document in the browser window, which is what I'm doing here, this has got the rules. I just pulled this right off the Decision Games site. This is their open source rule set. Then I found, I've got to say, I got to reference the document in the browser here when I ask questions. But then Bing AI will process this, and I've got some examples of questions I've asked here. Hopefully you can see them. I don't know if I can make this bigger. No, I can't. But the first thing I ask is, please provide a summary of the document in the browser. And it says system rulebook for Battles in the East, explains the components, it tells us what rules are. Document also provides examples of play illustrations, so it is a summary. But the other cool thing is giving me a link here to that location. So I ask, please provide a detailed sequence of play for the game. Now, in this time, I think it interpreted the context was for the document, and it did here. The game is divided into game turns. Each game turn is 2 player turns, 8 phases, and then it goes through each phase. Reinforcement phase, supply phase, initial movement phase, combat, mech movement, and again, we're getting footnotes here, which we'll see at the bottom. So this in itself is kind of handy too. I could do I could pull it up in Adobe and do that, and do a find. But this is, pretty handy. Would I use it? I don't know, but here we go. Now I'm going to ask specific questions I'm familiar with. Can a unit cross a major river to a hex in an enemy zone of control? And in this case, it nails it. Unit may not be moved across a major river into an EZOC unless occupied by a friendly unit or unit ignoring EZOC is not adjacent. And here's the rule. So there we go. You can answer it. Can a unit retreat or advance after combat across a major river hex? Now, it missed the retreat. I don't understand, but it says units advancing across a major river must stop in the first hex crossing, may not advance farther no matter how far the defenders go. But in a previous one where I was testing, it did say defenders can't do that. I don't know why I didn't catch it here. Then another example, please provide a detailed explanation of the combat process. Now the problem here was I think it lost its context and it started going out on the web. Britannica, Wikipedia. So I asked it again, please, well now I tried procedure and again it's still, well it's going to decision games here, but then I added from the document in the browser, provide a detailed explanation of the combat procedure. And it does, with references. Again, combat occurs during the combat phase, declares which units are attacking, combine multiple units, defender may not refuse, yeah, that's nice. Attacker calculates the odds. Attacker may choose to not benefit from any shifts available. Well, even I didn't pick that up. Attacker rolls a die, consults the CRT. Now see, I don't see yeah, it's got the DRMs here. It does mention you have to do it. The attacker must apply all losses and retreats before advancing any units. Defender must apply all losses and retreats before the attacker advances. Units may ignore by taking additional step losses. Now, it doesn't show me the exception into the detail that if the attacker takes any losses, they can't advance after combat. Whenever an enemy, and then they talk about advancing. Participants are allowed to advance along the path of retreat. Ignore EZOCs. It doesn't tell me the difference between infantry and mech there. Okay. Then I ask it about the overrun procedure, and it gives you the section. Special form of combat conducted by the phase and player during initial or mech. To initiate the overrunning unit must meet certain restrictions, such as being attack supply, having enough movement points, and not entering prohibited terrain or enemy zones of control. Now, it doesn't qualify that and say of the unit it's overrunning. Combined attack strength of at least 3. Okay, where did it get this? I missed that. If this condition is met, the overrunning may attack the defending unit without using the combat result table. Holy smoke, I don't remember reading that. And there's no reference. It's probably in there. Defender must take 1 step loss for each overrunning unit, up to a maximum of 3 steps. Okay, wow. I don't remember these. Attacker may advance into the defender's hex. I'm going to have to go back and look at this. Actually, yeah, I'm going to have to validate these rules. I do not remember this. That's intriguing. It found something I don't remember. I would click on it, but I don't know how that's going to affect what I'm doing here. Disengagement, combat support shifts. It's probably right here, page 8. Okay, so that does help. Here we go. Overrun, okay. 2 MP to enter it, overruns. Zoc. Where did he get those? Okay, well, maybe not ready for prime time. Maybe it was pulling it from here. See, that's interesting. Overrunning units must have a combined attack 3 times the defensive strength of defender units. Ooh, I think it may have picked up this and thought these were rules. That's pretty wild. So maybe not quite here. Documentation in the browser explains the effects of being out of supply. Movement allowance halved, rounded up. Cannot conduct overruns, cannot attack, but may move adjacent to enemy unit being attacked by other. To block retreat. Wow, that's a nice one. Page 6, line 6. Defend at half strength, so there you go. That's pretty helpful, although we got a chart for that. And then what's the last one? What is required for a Soviet unit to be an attack supply? Must have a line of supply to a Soviet HQ in attack supply within the HQ range. Number in the hex in the upper right. Soviet HQ in attack supply must also have a line of sight to a supply source. Designated map, and Soviet unit must be within range of a friendly HQ and attack supply. Kind of redundant there. So, and that was the last one I asked. So it does an okay job, but I'm still kind of confused by these two. I think it looked at the example here and thought these were rules here. That's interesting. So maybe not quite there. But I guess the next thing I'm going to try is pull in a chart. But let me just show you before I close this out. You got to have a dev version to process a PDF directly instead of converting it to text. And maybe I'll do that with this and drop it in here and see how GPT does later. But basically, to get this to work in Edge, you need a developer's version of Edge. And then you got to go into settings, and you got to go into the settings for the sidebar, and then you got to go to Bing Chat, and this is, by default, this is turned off. So you got to turn this on, and then I can pretty much open any PDF document in the browser here and cut it loose. So, see, and here's the giveaway. There's no reference on these. So I take that with a grain of salt. But anyhow, that was hopefully a short video. Yeah, 12 minutes here. So again, like I said, it's just my first foray into wondering if AI can be used for rules. The other thing I'm thinking of pulling in is some traveler stuff. I can pull up the PDF and maybe ask it how to do things. And then it's interesting that when you have the question of absolutely, I can help you game master a role-playing game. Just provide me some details, setting characters. I can do NPCs. This is ChatGPT. But when I ask here, I'll do this real here. I got to do it specific here. Bing Chat Game Master and RPG kind of tautology here, or Game Master game. And let's see what it says here. I'm sorry. My purpose is to assist you with your questions, and yeah, it just refuses. But yet ChatGPT will offer to do it, and I've talked to people who've done this, and I'm sure there's videos out there. So it'd be nice if all of this worked together, but if you want to use ChatGPT for everything, you're going to have to convert this to a text doc. There is I think they call it Chat PDF, but again, you've got to pay money for it too. So this is interesting, and I'll post anything new. I want to pull in some charts and tables and see if it can say how much does it cost to move here or there. But I think for this use, if you have knowledge of the rules, it's a starting point, especially since it gives references instead of paging through. So, this is a possibility. I don't know, with this how much I trust it, but yeah, interesting experiment. And if I do anything else or find anything else new, I'll post a video. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there at 14 minutes. It's getting late. And otherwise, we'll see you at the next recording, which hopefully will be a traveler recording, but we'll see. Thanks for listening.